So the preface of Colorado's Constitution declares that the purpose for establishing the government in Colorado is to establish, or the purpose for establishing a government. And now what Jefferson said, it's a necessary evil, right? We got to there, without a government, then it's just chaos and anarchy. So the preface of Colorado's Constitution declares that the purpose for establishing a government in Colorado is to establish justice and to ensure tranquility. Colorado's Constitution offers us citizens an entire Bill of Rights, a whole bunch of Article 2, Section 1 says that the government of Colorado is instituted for the people, and it's instituted solely for the good of the whole. That's all of us. This is the Bill of Rights. Let's keep going. Article 2, Section 2 protects every single Coloradan's right to safety and security. Safety and security. I want to say it's the right to change the government in the Constitution, too. It's the right to revolution, isn't it? Article 2, Section 3 protects my right to life, liberty, and property. Property is also protected under Article 2, Section 13, Section 25, as well as the 5th and 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. My God, somebody that would go through all this and write all these laws, they've got such a high regard for the law. Look at the respect the person that authored all these words has for the law. My God. I mean, a person that would read about not just the damn criminal procedure and the rules of evidence, but also the font. Make sure that the font and the stupid little box at the top, make sure all that's, that's a high regard for the law, is it not? So far, Colorado law, the Bill of Rights is protecting, it's saying that the government's for us, and it's saying that the government's there to establish justice and ensure tranquility. They're protecting my right to life, my right to liberty, my right to safety and security, my right to property. Article 2, Section 6 says this: courts of justice shall be open to every person, and a speedy remedy afforded for every injury to person, property, or character. And right and justice should be administered without sale, denial, or delay. What? Right and justice should be administered without sale, denial, or delay. Courts of justice shall be open to every person, and a speedy remedy afforded for every injury to person, property, or character. And so, in spite of, the dozens and dozens of the Court of Justice, what happens at victims' rights? They want to put it on Alonzo Payne. Which judge or cop has explained to me about victims' rights? Here, I'll explain real quick. Victims' rights is that the initial complaint, I get to look at the initial complaint. I got a right to be heard in all critical stages of the criminal justice system. And it says those words, criminal justice system. It's not just a legal system, it's a justice system. And that because the victims' rights are listed in the Bill of Rights, this makes all these rights constitutional rights. Not just natural rights that, they're probably found in nature or something, but they're American, constitutional. Victims' rights says that if you are the victim, you call in the incident, the police comes out to you, and let's assume they don't even know who you are. Well, they can't assume that you're a pathological liar until 12 lies or something? You got to quantify that. So the right to be treated with fairness, respect, and dignity. When you go to the scene, you got to treat the person that you don't know with fairness, respect, and dignity. The right to be free from intimidation, harassment, or abuse throughout the criminal justice process. The right to receive a free copy of the initial incident report. The right to be heard at any court proceeding. The right to be heard at any court proceeding. The right to a secure waiting room in court. The right to be heard at any court proceeding. So when I try to turn in 5 felony complaints to Judge Gonzalez, the right to be heard at any court proceeding, okay, you're not going to hear about it to maintain you're so non-biased. He cares so much about felony menacing and trying to, force me to plead out of this thing. But he didn't give a damn about the felony menacing that was happening beforehand and the felony menacing that was happening afterwards. What a freaking hypocrite. What a freaking hypocrite. And even if you're to say that September 17th, 2021, okay, I do my 3 years. I pay $100,000 because I fired 3 warning shots at somebody acting like a hooligan when I was trying to walk my dogs in the backyard and they were driving a big, loud, big rig. Let's assume that I have, that I got arrested for that, then they charged me with a class 5 felony. So that's, let's assume the worst, right? I still don't, you can't felony menace me today, tomorrow, or the rest of my life. You still can't commit crimes against me. And again, what great respect for the law. You're going to allow us to arrest you even though you don't believe you committed a crime? You're going to show up to every single court hearing, over 12 appearances? That's how important it is to impose their will upon people. I've been pushing for a fair jury trial. A fair jury trial. They present their case, I present my case. Let's see, victims' rights is a right to a secure waiting room in court. No, none of this. I called the police a whole bunch of times. Which police officer, which lawyer, which judge explained to me that I have the right to be informed of when the person that committed the crime against me is going to be released or escapes from jail? Well, you got to go arrest that person or summons that person first. Or pardon, the right to consult with the prosecution prior to a disposition or a trial. Well, I guess if the cop at the scene covers up the crime and all they do is just rubber stamp whatever the hell the cops do, well, he was the judge, jury, and executioner. What the hell do we even have lawyers and judges for if we're just going to, rubber stamp whatever the hell the damn cops do? At the very least, I heard 6%. Cops are wrong 6% of the time. The right to consult with the prosecution prior to a disposition or trial. Nope. Noble Havens, Danny Sanchez, none of them. The right to be heard by phone or similar technology when a victim cannot appear in court. That would be nice. Because what I have to do is I got to pay a person from, way over there to watch over my place every time I go to court. That's the problem with me, being able to file charges and pursue all this, is that I have to go to court every single time when, there's a stalker. Somebody, I don't want to go to court just so you can, no, I'm not going to hold my position. I'm going to keep what I have earned. But I haven't gotten any peace. And, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. I don't have police protection. And when I go to stand up for myself, I have to, essentially have a right to arrest a guy, but I have to trust that when I go to the courthouse or find the judge or the police officer and say, hey, I just arrested this guy, that they'll say, well, then I have to prove it, right? I have to prove my case. Whereas if they just do it, then we're just going to believe them no matter what. Now what's good for the goose is good for the gander. We need to have a process that's fair for everybody. You can't just pick on somebody who's vulnerable. You can't just target somebody who's vulnerable. You can't just be a predator to somebody who's vulnerable and then keep on prodding and poking and poking and poking. The right to consult with the prosecution prior to a disposition or trial. The right to be heard by phone or similar technology when a victim cannot appear in court. The right to be informed. It should be alleged victim too, because the alleged culprit they're innocent until proven guilty. The right to be informed of the process for enforcing compliance with the victim's rights. Yeah, Noble Haven forgot to tell me about that. He forgot to tell me about all these victims' rights. And then at the very end, here's a phone number you can call. If I don't do my job, then go ahead and call this phone number, and then they'll make sure I do my job. CRS 24 4.130317 and so there you go. That's the right to bail, the right to remain silent, freedom from double jeopardy, the right to habeas corpus, the right to a lawyer, the right to defend myself. We got a lot of freedoms, right? Being in America. Proud to be an American. Article 2, Section 16A became law in 1993. Article 2, Section 16A says that victims, that's interesting. So I actually told Robert Willett, and I told Soto Cruz, so I thought it eventually got to Danny Sanchez. And maybe the court. This might have been Quintana and Woods might have seen this too. So I was like, hey, instead of having the court, the lawyers or the judges or the cops tell me about victims' rights, I actually told them about the victims' rights. We have a whole Bill of Rights, and Section 16A is victims' rights. And it adds about 10 to 20 rights on top of the rest of the Bill of Rights that we have. So it's a fantastic addition. I approve. 16A, the title is Rights of Crime Victims, right? They always say the rights of the accused. What about the rights of the victims? We got to care about the whole idea of the criminal justice system is to protect the victims. Nobody wants to be a victim. Nobody wants to be a victim. If you have a criminal justice system that actually operates for the ends of peace, love, justice, tranquility, but sometimes you get just a bunch of authoritarian fascist assholes rubber stamping whatever the hell a couple of cops do, and then they say that the citizens doesn't matter because it's ex parte or some shit. So therefore, if you're not a lawyer or a cop, then the citizen and the families and the farmers, the ordinary person in the San Luis Valley isn't going to be heard by the chief judge or by Woods. Nobody, they're not going to hear them out because, well, you're just a peasant. You're just a poor peasant nobody. Nah, you're a poor peasant nobody. You got to go pay some expensive lawyer that'll probably end up taking all your money and not seeing the case through. Or you got to find a cop that believes you. If a cop just believes you, hell, he could just, punch in 2 buttons and then, hell, you got to go through a whole bunch of hoops. You got to jump through a whole bunch of. But if a cop doesn't hear you out and the judges should hear everybody out. The clerk should just file the thing and then put it before the judge. The judge should ask some goddamn questions. The judge sets the culture for everybody else, especially the chief judge. The chief judge sets the culture for everybody else. So when Michael Gonzalez hears about a felony and he says, oh, damn, I don't want people going around committing crimes against each other. No, that is not the San Luis Valley district I am running here. I am against crime. I am against one person from injuring another person. I'm against sadism. I'm against criminality. I'm not going to arrest a bunch of Anne Franks and J.C. Dugards in defense of, those who would criminalize him, in defense of right-wing sovereign pieces of crap. The Rights of Crime Victims, Article 2, Section 16A declares this: any person who is a victim of a criminal act shall have the right to be heard when relevant, informed, and present at all critical stages of the criminal justice process. Not only does the crime victim themselves have a right to be heard or their designee or legal guardian, but if the crime victim is dead, then their next of kin estate can pursue the civil or criminal charges as well. And that would be handled by Kurt. For me, Article 2, Section 24 gives me the right to remonstrate. What's the right to remonstrate? Well, that's the right to speak, only then some. The right to remonstrate is basically the right to speak times 1,000. Not only can I say, you're not I don't know if you're doing very good there, you golly gee, you. I don't know if you're acting right. I'm allowed to say you're a piece of shit. And go fuck yourself, you fucking asshole. You dirty, rotten piece of shit. That's America. You're trying to tell me that all these rights and freedoms and I can't call you an asshole on the fucking internet? I could call you an asshole. And I don't want anybody actually listening to this. This is part of my creative process.